Rabbi said a special edition of our Thursday night shiur. We don't usually record it, but this time we're making a Siyum. We learned the whole Mishnayot Shabbat with the Rav. And we're finishing with Hashem this week. We're going to say Kaddish. We're going to start the new Masechet. We're going to do Masechet Brachot after this. So let's get deep into the Mishnah. We're in the 24th chapter. Just one reason, how come there's 24 chapters in the Mishnah? Mishnah Shabbat, 20. What's the secret of number 24? Besides for 24 words of Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Olam Va'ed, right? There's 24 letters, 24 books of the Torah, 24 hours. Besides for all those secrets, there's also, remember I taught you guys that the Arei Miklat, the refuge cities were 24 times 2, 24 and 24, 48 altogether. And the secret of the 48, the secret of the 48, the 24, we said that there's the Tiferet, the Sfirat of Tiferet, is which is the main Sfirat, is divided into 3. There's one Chesed, Chesed is 72. So if you divide 72 into 3, you get 24, 24, and 24. And our whole job is to give the Shekhinah, the Malchut, the middle 24. The middle, because the top 24 belongs to something else. The bottom 24, it's for sure the Malchuts. But the middle 24, that's where the fight is. Right? So by learning the 24 chapters of Masechet Shabbat, you're giving to the Malchut that 24, and you're making her Keter. And learning Masechet Shabbat destroys the Kritmachs. Because they know about it.
Okay.
That's why they don't want us to keep Shabbat. Our secret is not to change, not to destroy the Kritmas, but to destroy their false belief. Their false belief. I was listening to a lecture yesterday before we're going to start the thing. It's really quick. A recent lecture by Rabbi Tuvi, a singer. Hashem should give him life till 150.
Amen.
He's really the only one of the famous ones fighting out there against the thing. And he has the famous thing. But he said, when in the book of Zechariah, it says over there, the book of Zechariah, it's also one of the disproofs of the Kritmas. It says over there that 10 goyim will hold on every tzitzit, every corner tzitzit of a Jew. It doesn't say of Israelite. It says of the Jew. The Zechariah Navi says. So he says our job is not just to teach the Jewish people that this is all false, that no kind of thing that a guy could die for somebody else's sins and all that nonsense. Because they said, and they have a book called Hebrews. One of their books, they have 27 books. One of their books is called Hebrews. And in this book it says over there that God doesn't want any more korbanot. Korban. From now on, Yoshka is the korban. He's the only korban. Yeah, exactly. What's the disproof? They believe in the Torah. Open up any book of Ezekiel, Yechezkel Navi. At the end, what does it say when Mashiach is going to come? What is he going to bring?
Korban.
A korban. If he's the korban himself, why is he bringing a korban? You understand? Anyways, a lot of disproofs over there also. But the point is that the goy is going to hold on to the kanaf, to the fringe, the tzitzit of the Jew. And he's going to tell us, teach me Hashem, because I heard Hashem is with you. I heard Hashem is with you.
Like in Egypt.
You can't convert them and marry them. It doesn't work like that. Because after Mashiach comes, there's no more conversions. So right now, the goy has to see this and he has to see, where is Hashem? Where is God?
What's the connection?
You understand? Why? Because the Jew back then, his clothes was 4 corners. When you grab somebody, you grab him by the corner. So it says not only one is going to grab you, 10 is going to grab you by every corner. 10 in every corner.
10 per string, no?
Yeah? Whatever. I'm not going to get into exact numbers over there. And he's going to say to you, teach me Hashem. Yeah, from the Far East, the Chinese, the Indian. By the way, it's happening already. What's his name? It's already happening. There are Indians who text me, call me, that hear the Torah and says, teach us about Hashem. It's already happening. From India. From Indonesia.
Some Korean people listen to this shul also shul that.
Korean people.
People from Flash.
Yeah, and you saw we have the. I know.
We're gonna have a lot of this one.
Anyways, no, they don't have Social Security. They actually remember my shiurim better than the people who actually come to the shiurim. That's the crazy part. Because they didn't dip yet. Once they dip, that's when the Yetzirah starts. So anyways, by learning the last parak of Masechet Shabbat, we're bringing the Kad, the 24 powers of the Tiferet, and we're going to be a big effort. So let's look inside. Let's say you're walking on the way, and you're outside Bechor. You're outside the city. And it's getting Shabbat, and you have a wallet on you. You're on your donkey, you don't know what to do. Your wallet, Bechor. You don't know what to do. Your wallet is on you. What do you do? The Mishnah says, if there is a goy with you, give it to the goy. Give it to him, and he's gonna take it for you. The Rav asks. The Rav says, you can't ask a goy to do for you a malacha on Shabbat. How are you asking the goy to carry for you your wallet on Shabbat? You're not allowed to ask a goy to do chilul Shabbat for you. So what? Even for the Rabbanan, it's asur. You can't ask a goy to do for you a malacha with the Rabbanan.
Monetary laws, though, no?
It's connected. It says the Rav. The Rav says. Ein Adam kim lehu Rabban. The Rabbanan knew. The Ein Adam mamid atzmo al mamano. A person really loves his money. He loves it. And if you're not going to give it to the goy, if you're not going to give it to the goy, then you yourself are going to carry it 4 amot b'shutar rabbi, and you're going to go over isur. So you rather give it to the goy. So Chachamim were mevatel the isur of muktzeh in this case, because they made the muktzeh, so they can be mevatel the muktzeh, to allow the Jew to give it to the goy to carry for him on Shabbat. That way, he himself won't carry it. Even though in usual cases you can't carry money on Shabbat.
Why does
In this case, yes, because over here we know there's no other, it's his money, and we know that he's going to do chilul Shabbat.
what if I find $100?
That's not your money. It's
yours now?
no, it's not. It's not kim lehu l'Rabbanan in that instance.
When you're saying 4 amot, is it Iruf or not? It doesn't
We're
matter.
talking about no iruv, obviously.
Okay.
Right? Now, let's say there is no goy with you. What do? Manicho ala chamor, you place it on the donkey. The donkey goes by itself. He reaches the outer courtyard, not of his house, of the city, in a place where he's sure that nobody is gonna steal it. You understand? Notel et hakelim b'Shabbat. Let's say you have on the donkey Shabbat already, the donkey, and you get into the city right when Shabbat comes in. Now you can't Shabbat night, yeah. Now you can't tell a donkey, let's go. You can't. It's a isur on Shabbat.
If he walks with you, you're okay.
Exactly. If he goes with you. Now he's inside the Reshut Hayachid. He's not Reshut Hayachid. He's inside the city. That means there is gates in the city. You're inside the city. It's not Reshut Hayachid. No, it's not. You're not at Tchum. Exactly. What do? Let's say on the donkey you have over there things that aren't muktzeh. You take it off the donkey and you put it on the floor. You're not allowed to let the donkey carry for you on Shabbat.
That's not.
It's asur. You have a isur from the Torah to make your animals work for you on Shabbat. By the animals taking the stuff, even though it's not muktzeh, you're going over isur. So can you say? Let's say it's not muktzeh. Take it, put it on the floor. Let's say now on the back he has the wallet, or let's say he has some stuff over there that are muktzeh. He unties the rope, and they fall
Natural.
by themselves, and he lets the donkey go. The goy? The goy is different, no, but the goy he gave it to him before Shabbat. And I said, over here it's already on Shabbat. It's already on Shabbat. What are you gonna do? You can't do anything. So you let it go, and that's it. והסכין, and everything falls off by itself. Next Mishnah, this is now muktzeh. So I remember I told you guys before we started Masechet Shabbat, most of this Gemara is muktzeh. At least 60% of this whole Mishnah is about muktzeh. Muktzeh. Pay attention. Focus. Matirin piki'e amir, you may untie bundles of straw on Shabbat, lifnei be'ema, in front of the goat, in front of. It wasn't a Freudian slip. In front of the animal, let's say you need to feed him straw, but it's in a bundle. Now the thing is, I don't know about this, but the Gemara, the Mishnah is teaching us that the animal won't eat the straw
If it's
unless you open it up for him. Like it's built inside the animal's psyche that once if it's closed, he's not gonna touch it.
Not the law.
I don't know. Maybe animals today are different. But it says over here, matirin pikiyah. You have to open the bundles of straw for the animal in Shabbat. And one may spread, umefasfisin et hakifin, aval lo et hazirin, but not zirin. What is that mefasfisin et hakifin? What's kipin? He writes over here is a certain kind of food, a certain kind of grass. This grass, the animal, he needs to smell it. If he doesn't smell it, he's not going to come and eat it. So you could take it and spread it out for him.
But you can't crush it.
You can't crush it, but you could spread it out so the animal will come. Why? If you don't spread it out, he's not going to eat. First of all, tzar ba'alei chayim. And number two, you're going to ruin the animal food. Because if he's not going to eat it now, it's going to go to waste. Grass. It's a kind of a grass. Avalot zirin, but not zirin. Zirin doesn't get ruined if you don't open it up for the animal. So therefore, you can't open it up. You just have to give it to him whole. And if he eats it, he eats it. If not, no, you have to give him the straw. Straw, you could untie it. You can't spread out the straw. You can't spread it out. On Shabbat. You can't spread it out, but you could untie it so it falls by itself.
Why can we spread it out?
Huh? Understand?
You cannot
Muktzeh.
shake it, nothing. You have
Huh?
to leave it like
Yeah,
that.
you can't shake it. Exactly. That's the Yisur over here. When could you shake? When could you open it up? When could you shake it? And when do you have to leave it like that?
How is that Muktzeh?
You understand? Huh?
Yeah, isn't that
You're untying. You're unknotting.
Yeah, but it has a purpose to it. So
Oh, until when is the purpose needed? Until when is it not needed? For the straw, it's enough to
Just open.
untie it. For the grass, you have to
Spread it.
spread it out. But for the other thing, you just have to put it the zirin.
If he eats it,
Right, if he eats, he eats it. Exactly. That means muktzeh is once it's matir, nitar. It's not mutar all the way. It's it's mutar until a certain point on Shabbat.
Just like you're driving
Right.
a patient until the danger is
Exactly.
done, that's
You're
it.
driving your wife to the doctor on Shabbat. She's about to give birth. You can't turn off the car.
That's it. She get out of the
You
car. and
understand?
it's
Yeah,
done.
she gets out of the car. You have to let the battery go. Yeah.
until the
or the
day.
gas.
The Chachamim, the Gemara says, you remind me something. I think it's even Masechet Brachot. I'm not sure that they used to know. Look how Chachamim they were. When to get their wife pregnant, so they won't give birth on Shabbat or Yom Tov.
See? Oh, what?
They used to know what day to be with their wives. That way, their giving birth won't fall on Shabbat and Yom Tov.
You should ask those Giving preparation before.
Yeah, 9 months before.
No.
They used to know.
Matematica,
All of
bravo.
it.
It's 9 months.
Yeah, it's not. But
My sister did.
listen, I don't know how they used to do it. The Hasidim Arishonim used to do this. We all agree that human bodies aren't what they used to be. Am I right or wrong? And that's it.
Watch.
God, we saved you something, Abraham. God bless you too. Ein meraskin et shachat. One cannot chop off the animal food on Shabbat. You have the animal food, shachat. You have carobs. Carobs. You know how carobs are.
Israeli.
That's what the...
Adirbe.
The one that breaks your teeth.
Slap.
Tastes like chocolate. Huh? Yeah, of course. For yourself, yes. For the animal, we say no. Why? His teeth are strong. He can bite it himself. Don't worry.
The only thing to do for the animal is open up the bundle.
Wait, open it.
You could put next to him the food. You could leave him next to him the food. The question is, how much more could I prepare for the animal?
I don't see the guy. The
No.
animal is right out.
Yeah.
What can you do right now?
You could put it in front of him the food.
You can take the whole thing. Just put it
You put it in front of him. The question is now you have carobs in front of him. Carobs. Can I chop it up for him? Because it's hard. I want to for the animal. I
No,
want to
you
make sure
can't.
he
Absolutely.
chews it because he should be able to chew it. Can I do it? You okay with it? You just saw a couple of animals. Maybe you're a little nervous. Could you make sure he's gonna chew it or no? The answer is lo tacharuvin. You're not. Whether it's a small animal, you might say maybe in front of a small animal I am allowed to chop the carobs on Shabbat. Mishnah says no. You're not allowed to, even not even in front. But it's such a cute small little shepsala. He's so cute. No, you're not allowed to. Rabbi Yehuda mati b'charuvin ledaka. Rabbi Yehuda says no. Rabbi Yehuda says you are allowed to chop up those carobs for the baby sheep
Because the
because
baby.
they're so cute.
No, not because they're.
Why? Because their teeth are not strong enough. And what does the Raf say? Hamotzi.
Amen.
Amen. What does the Rav say? Ein halacha ki Rabbi Yehuda. The halacha does not follow Rabbi Yehuda, and you can't chop up those carrots. Child animal. Oh, you look so connected to the animal. That's why he's a teacher. That's why he's a special ed teacher. He feels it. He feels it. He feels the pain. Next, continuing with the animals. This one is a bit. Pay attention. We're almost done. Rabbi is saying, "En ofsin et hagamal velo dorsin." You cannot stuff or cram food into a camel's mouth. Why? Let's say the animal, he's not hungry right now, but you know you have a far journey. You have to fill him up. It's Shabbat. You want to feed him till he's atakash, ser. You understand? So look what the guy is doing. Look how they were used to feed the animals back then.
Them.
See how he's stuffing his mouth
in your hand.
right inside the belly. Yeah. Past the thing. Huh? Tzar Balei Chaim. That's not. Remember, Tzar Balei Chaim is only when you don't need it. It's only if stam you're doing Tzar Balei Chaim. You understand? No. If you don't need it, but let's say you do need it, you need the camel to be full. Because the animal was created for you. Remember? They once asked the Tzitz Eliezer, Rav Volderberger over there, he says, how could a Jew, he's working as a scientist, he has lab, and he's making experiment on mice. You understand? How can he do it? Mice are also animals. He says, anything that was created for a human, for the sake of the human, it's mutar. What's mal'itin? One may not fatten the calves, but one may put food in their mouths. What does you mean, mal'itin? Let's say it's a baby camel. He needs help opening the mouth, closing it. That you're allowed to do. You're allowed to open the mouth.
All baby
All baby. They ain't exactly. But let's say you have a calf. Calves, veal, they're expensive. Yes or no? I saw the price of veal right now. I'm not saying which store. I think it was like $25 for one.
It was a good piece of meat, probably.
It was. I don't know, but it looked like a really expensive piece of meat. Anyways, the veal, you want to fatten them up. Could you fatten up the animal on Shabbat, Gabriel? What do you think?
On Shabbos. No.
Yeah, for him or for you?
Is it for Shabbat?
It's not for Shabbat. You're not going to shecht him right now on Shabbat.
There's no way.
Ein mamrim et ha'agarim. You can't fatten the calves.
That's planning, no?
Huh?
Planning.
You're force feeding also. You're planning.
Yeah, you're planning. I don't know if it's because of planning, but you could also say that. But one may put food in their mouth. You could put food in their mouth, as we said by the camel. You are also allowed to feed the chickens in the mouth. Basically, you might think these animals are muktzeh right now. You don't need to touch them. They're not. When you're feeding them, you're allowed to feed them the normal way. You can't fatten them, or in the camel's case, you can't stuff it down his mouth. But let's say you stuff it down his throat in a place where you could regurgitate it, then it's mutar. Because the camels, the camels spit up their food. Huh? No, the guy is doing it on purpose for a certain reason. The question is, could he do this on Shabbat? We live in a totally different time. People back then, they had camels, they had sheep, they had
their
chicken.
livelihood.
This was their life.
Mercedes.
You understand?
Countryman.
So, ma?
Yeah, but you're
No, but fish, you're not, understand? You know, what Victor Miller says, a Jew shouldn't raise a small dog in his house. Not mehalacha, but hashkafa. Why? Where this whole idea, I'm getting a puppy in my house, I'm going to raise a puppy. I'm sorry for all the dog lovers over here. Where did this whole idea come from? I'm going to raise a dog in my house.
You do that for the security.
Security is something else.
Not you.
No problem.
Security.
Not in the pillow.
Not on the pillow to hug him like this.
He's the
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
Hugging your wife, not you.
$5,000 poodle he has over there. Stays small like this. Stays small like this. For security from the kids. Anyway, but a dog, a big Doberman, it's also a problem. Why? Chachamim say whoever raises a dog in his house is cursed. He's not talking about small puppies. He's talking about those big,
Dogs?
yeah, those German shepherds. Why? The woman used to hear the barks, and they used to, from the fright, could
Miscarriage.
could have a miscarriage. So the Chachamim say whoever raises it, or Chas v'Shalom, if he doesn't tie the dog strong enough, he could attack. Yes or no? There were a couple of dogs like this, and this one guy, remember, used to sit over here, sold his house. Next to him, another guy sold his house. He had a dog. One day, I didn't know the guy sold. Out of nowhere, my heart almost came out of my thing. No, but imagine how many curses that guy gets. First of all, it's not worth it spiritually. Forget about that. So, but the small puppy, hashkafically, but whatever, people do. It's an American thing. You know, it's like two kids and a dog. It's an American thing.
2.5 kids.
Yeah, 2.5 kids. That's the half. That's the half. Okay, but anyways, a lot of animals are muktzeh on Shabbat. You understand? They're muktzeh. So you have to know, whoever has an animal, he has to learn halachot of animals on Shabbat. This is feeding animals. There's so many other things. Taking the dog out on a walk, in a leash. You understand? That has nothing to do with Shabbat. That's in general. If you're raising a living being, you have to feed it. Right? Okay. Next Mishnah. "V'notnim mayim lemursan aval lo govlim." You can put water in bran. Bran is chicken food, but you can't mix it. Yeah. So on Shabbat, it's not a problem. But it's not a problem on Shabbat.
For real?
For the animals, for the sake of the eating. Okay, you're feeding him. No. Chickens eat bran. Bran is like the shell of the wheat.
Yeah, but still, it's
of course, it opens up. It blows up.
Yeah,
it blows up.
Exactly.
But you're allowed to do that on Shabbat. But you're not allowed to mix it to make it to make it edible, more edible for the chicken. You can't put water in front of bees on Shabbat.
Why?
Because the Rav explains over here, Ein mezonotan alav. Bees could find their own water. They don't need you to give them water. Because their food is inside the sadeh, it's in the field. They don't need you. You're not allowed to put water, but one may, or before doves in a dovecot. Also, the doves, wild doves, that you just have like a nest. They used to do that. They could find water by themselves. They don't need you to put them water on Shabbat.
For you, right?
But let's say you have geese and chicken. Halvano would like this. Home-raised pigeons. Those you could put in front of them water on Shabbat because they know you, they're used to you, they're waiting for you to put water for them.
They're your pets too.
They're your pets, exactly. And why are they called dorsiot? A little history lesson the Rav brings down. Why are they called dorsiot? From the word hordus. The King Herod, hordus, he used to raise pigeons. It was his hobby.
Friends with Michael Pesci.
You hear that, guys? Herod used to raise pigeons.
It was Bukhari.
He was a pigeon, maybe. Okay. Good. Mishnah Dalet. Okay, I think we're second to last Mishnah. What are you saying? Yeah, second to last Mishnah.
Used to be U.S. mail, you know, right?
Pigeons, yeah.
They used to travel with the thing, yeah.
Okay, let's say you have a nevela on Shabbat, a dead animal, and the dogs are hungry. You see? Why did I tell you put it in front of the dogs? That's what they used to feed the dogs. Today, dogs are very spoiled. If you don't give them their dogly, he's not gonna eat. The mission is you're allowed to cut squash in front of the, let's say you have a cow, and you want to cut the squash in front of him so you can bite it better. You're allowed to do that on Shabbat. You're allowed to cut up the dead animal on Shabbat, the carcass. Carcass is muktzeh, right? A dead animal is muktzeh on Shabbat. But let's say you want to cut him up for the dogs. You're allowed to cut him up on Shabbat, says the Mishnah. No, the dog, he's not going to bite off the head of the cow. You want to cut off the head, take off the horns and the hooves, make it easier for him. Or let's say you have a couple of dogs. You want to give a piece to him, piece to him, piece to him. You're allowed to do that on Shabbat.
That blood is not blood anymore, right?
What? That's not the blood of, for what, for a human?
Cow. They're already deceased, right? That blood.
The dead cow,
blood coming out. That blood is not.
Of course, has nothing to do with that. This has nothing to do with letting blood out on Shabbat.
I'm just saying, when we, for example, bleed, it's an issue.
That's an isur, yeah.
But I'm saying that animal.
No, this has nothing to do. No, that's it. That's the whole point of the Mishnah. It's not an isur because you're doing it for a reason, to feed the dogs. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Im lo hayta nevela me'erev Shabbat. When could you cut it on Shabbat? When it was dead before Shabbat. But if it died on Shabbat, asura. Why? Because it wasn't ready on Shabbat, and therefore it's muktzeh.
Came with an egg.
Ve'ein halacha k'Rabbi Yehuda. The halacha is not like Rabbi Yehuda.
So you're allowed to.
You're allowed to cut it even if it died on the Sabbath.
Wait, how about the egg though?
Huh?
Egg one they say.
The egg is something else, Rebbe. The egg is for you. You're feeding the animal. Mefirin nedarim b'Shabbat. You're allowed to do hatarat nedarim on Shabbat. Guys, you excited? It's the last Mishnah.
Very amazing.
You look excited. Mefirin nedarim b'Shabbat. You're allowed to do hatarat nedarim b'Shabbat. There's a reason why you're here, I'm telling you. V'nishalin ledvarim. And you may ask for a release of a vow. Let's say you made a vow. I vow that you may never come inside my house. It's a vow. You understand? Let's say you want him to come inside your house right now. Could you go to the Chacham and be like, could you do Hatarat Nedarim Ushruot? And
What if I
Shabbat?
invite him to my house now? I say I don't allow you, but then I invite you.
That's the
Do I need a
problem.
neder?
Yeah, you bring over
I
the
mean, you
Shvuah.
need to shvuah.
Shehen, but only on one condition, if it's Letzorech Shabbat. If it's for the sake of Shabbat. So let's say a person made a vow, he's not going to smoke anymore. And suddenly he meets the rabbi on Shabbat that knows how to open the vows. But it's Shabbat, he can't nullify the vow. Because you don't smoke on Shabbat.
I won't sleep on Shabbat.
Right? Okay, next Mishnah, here is an interesting one. No, that is finishing the Mishnah. Whoever has it inside, I want to say before you finish the Mishnah, what I want to say is that for the next Mishnah, I'm going to show you guys the book that I got because actually, you know what, give me the red books over there, the Mishnayot. I want to give them out. Since we're finishing Masechet Shabbat, we're going to our third Mishnah already. We have to read it together inside. You understand? It's of course important to listen and everything. This is we got Masechet Berachot with the Rav, with pictures. Everything is inside. You understand?
How many years?
Think of yourselves like Rabbi Akiva. My son uses this in school. This is the first book that you ever use in yeshiva. You see, I'm bringing you back. We're gonna learn how to read it inside. But this for you guys to use. So you guys, I want you guys when we read it inside together. You're gonna learn how to read Hebrew. We're not gonna do it. This is not the woman's lecture. You're gonna read inside. You're gonna learn how to translate too. Learning Hebrew and translation is only gonna come through ratzon, through will. Okay. So we're gonna start the. Why you took so many?
You said I want to give it out.
They already took half of it. Okay, let's finish the Mishnah. Pokekin etamaor. You have the Kaddish ready in your book?
Open it up.
No, your Gemara, Masechet Shabbat. Open up the Kaddish at the end. Pokekin etamaor. Let's say you have a window. That's like this on Shabbat. Can I shut it with a temporary blockage? You see?
What do you mean temporary blockage?
Plug.
You can plug. Can you plug
window.
it? Can you plug a window on Shabbat?
Your window broke.
Huh?
Windy.
Huh? It holds, yes. You're doing it on purpose.
Cold.
For the cold?
Does it have a purpose or is it general?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Можно тебе закрыть его с кирпичом.
You considered finishing the attic. You can't do it, no?
What? No, it's temporary. You see, it's like closing a window on Shabbat. Like you have a window, you can close it and open it.
So that's the way it is. Then
Yeah, this is the reason. This is the reason why you can close a window on Shabbat. It's not something that's meant to stay closed. You're not boneh on Shabbat.
Temporary.
Exactly. The temporary, it means it's not a building. So, we did something similar. We did something with boneh, with closets. With closets, It's cold? Yeah.
Those windows, right?
Fill it up.
But it was more like bringing in and out. I believe, or something like that.
No, that's from what do you call it? Bringing from private property to no, that's different.
Yeah.
Those are domains.
Yes. Pokekin et hamaor. You're allowed to. Let's see if you guys remember. For the single guys, where else do we see? What famous Mishnah do we see? Gemara actually. where we see the word pokekin. You don't see this word a lot. Pokekin. Come on, guy, pokekin. Yibamot.
Oh, I didn't get that.
He did. Whoever gets married, avonotav pokekin. When a person gets married, his averot gets clogged. Not clean, clogged.
The one.
Clogged. Not erased.
The one. Until he's single again?
So he does teshuvah. So he does teshuvah. That means, let's say a person has a lot of karet, this, that, they're going to come to haunt him. So your marriage is like a clog, so everything is on hold. If he redoes the averot, then they open up again.
So wouldn't it make sense to get married every year to a different girl? To keep plugging in?
I'm sure people used to do that.
Loophole.
You could technically do your wife.
You saying divorce her and remarry her? What is this for you, Jesky Sad over here? Divorce, remarry, divorce, remarry. I'm pretty sure there is a limit to how many times you could do that. They do that to divorce and remarry only. Let's say people are old already.
Right,
They want to do the. They want to do the mitzvah of gitin. They want to do that mitzvah of giving a get. Somebody's like, well, listen, I could give over my mitzvah if he wants it. He doesn't have to do it. There's a mitzvah to give a get, so people get old, the older rabbi. Yeah.
Come to your wife. I want to give you a gift.
Yeah, they give a get, and that same day they get remarried.
If you didn't change your mind.
Or let's say there's a sigula, let's change your mazal to have kids, divorce, remarry.
You saw that video?
You understand?
The video?
Anyways, פוקחים את המאור ומודדים את המטלית. You're allowed to measure the towel. Why? So let's say the towel is tameh. For a towel to be tameh, it has to be a certain size. And let's say that towel that let's say your wife was a nidah, she touched the towel. She doesn't know the halacha or she forgot. That's something you got home. She's like, oh, the towel touched the truma, the kodashim. He's like, oh shoot, we gotta burn this thing now. But it depends. Was the towel mekabel tuma or not? So you could measure it on Shabbat to know whether the truma is tameh or towel. Because usually you can't measure on Shabbat. You can't take a ruler on Shabbat and measure. It's asur.
Only for the sake of this.
Even with your hands, you can't measure. You can't do that on Shabbat. What are you going to measure with your hands for? You're putting up a mezuzah or something? What do you measure? You can't measure on Shabbat. You could measure, we're going to learn right now, litzorech mitzvah. Or let's say your kid is drinking milk and you put 3 ounces of the powder and another 2 ounces of the water. You understand?
It's more than measurement.
So I'm saying, same thing. You could measure, but not exact.
Not glass.
Not glass, exactly. But to measure something, we're making constructions. Let's measure how big our wall is so we're ready. Can't do that in Shabbat. This is asur. But let's see for the tumah v'tahara, you're allowed. It's a tzorach mitzvah. You're allowed to measure it on Shabbat. Ve'et ha-mikveh. You're allowed to measure a mikveh on Shabbat.
To see if it's
a kosher mikveh. Person went into the mikveh. He doesn't know it was a mikveh kosher because a mikveh has to hold 40 se'ah.
Cubic.
40 se'ah is a certain amount, but the Chachamim gave a thing. It's an amah, a square footage of an amah by an amah, and the person standing in it has to be deep for 3 amot at least.
What's the reason measurement already prepared?
No, let's say back in the day, they used to make mikveh. They used to, not like today, bor, tachat bor, this, that. They used to have a mikveh, a natural cistern, a natural bore, like a lake. But they used to have a lot of mikvahs in caves. Yerushalayim has a lot of mountains. You used to go inside the cave, you see a cistern with water. Is it big enough? It's a mikveh. Boom, you used to go in and come out. Let's say a lot of Kohanim would go in, and the rabbi's like, listen, are you sure this mikveh is kasher or no? So he's allowed to go over there and check the mikveh if it's the right size.
Lake and ocean consider mikvah?
If it's a natural lake, a natural ocean, yes.
Nobody checking how deep or how.
Yeah,
Lake ocean, it's huge. That's a billion mikvahs. All right. The Gemara. So, by the way, this is the size of a cloth that's mikabel tumah. 3 fingers by 3 fingers.
That's the bediga cloth.
Exact. You're looking like you're some kind of bediga cloth.
So that's
You want to teach Hilchot Nida now?
That's a towel?
כן, בלילה.
What kind of
It's
towel
a
is
piece
that?
of cat. It's a piece of cloth.
This is the minimum size to
Yeah.
to
You
take
see, this
on.
is the smallest kind of mikveh. An amma by 3 amot.
Yeah, but you said the towel has to be this is the length.
Yeah.
The minimum length for
Minimum.
it to be able to take tuma.
Minimum.
If it's smaller, it doesn't take tuma.
Yeah.
I understand, but what towel do you know smaller than that?
Maybe a petite.
Cloth, towel, Ariel, why are you hacking a giant?
Maybe it was a band-aid.
Why are you doing the hack?
If it's a band-aid,
Why are you doing the
it's got
hack? You're hacking right now.
a piece of gauze.
Why is it a towel? Why is it called a towel? What? Yalla. Alright, finishing up. How do we know all these things are allowed on Shabbat? How do we know? Maaseh bimei aviv shel Rabbi Tzadok ubimei Abba Shaul ben Botnit. Guys, look inside. Read his name. Maaseh bimei aviv shel Rabbi Tzadok ubimei Abba Shaul. It was a story in the time of Abba Shaul ben Botnit and Rabbi Tzadok. Shepakeku et hamaor, that they closed up the window. You see, with a jug, betafiach. You see how they clogged up the window? You see how they clogged that up? So we learned this halacha from them. They were such big Gadaev rabbis. When they used to do something, we would learn the halacha from them. Understand? Not only did they clog up the window, they clogged it with a jug. Understand? That means we learn from here too that the jug is not muktzeh if you even needed to close up a window.
Does that work for
Anything,
roof,
anything,
boat?
anything.
No.
The kashrut hamekeda bagemi. What does it mean, kashrut hamekeda bagemi? And they stopped up the window with a jug and they tied a vessel with papyrus in order to determine. What does it mean? They tied up. You see, there was a
Stick.
a hole in the roof, and they put with papyrus. They tied it up on Shabbat. Not a strong tie, just to close it up with papyrus.
Paper?
Yeah, the original paper. Papyrus. Leda im yesh begigit poteach tefach. Why? They put the papyrus over there because they knew the exact size of the papyrus, and they wanted to see how big the hole in the roof was. I'm going to explain to you why in a second. Im lav. And or not, umidivrehem lamadnu, we're in the last sentence. Shepokekin umodedin vekoshrin b'Shabbat. That you're allowed to clog, measure, and close up on Shabbat. Baruch Adonai Amen. Why did they do it? Why did they do that? You see, they clogged the window, and then they stuffed up the thing with the papyrus to measure it. Why did they do it? Because see the house. These are two houses, and one of these houses was a dead guy. Now the halacha is if the windows are open and there is a roof on top, the tumah transfers. So they wanted to know that the tumah transferred to the next house. So first they clogged up the window just in case it didn't, and then they put the papyrus in the roof to make sure to check was the hole big enough. If it was big enough, then it didn't transfer. But if it was small enough, then it did transfer. Huh? No. It has to be a poteach tefach. It has to be less than a tefach. If it's more than a tefach, the whole, then it doesn't transfer. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen. Mazal tov to all of you guys. Hadran alach masechet Shabbat v'chalan. Datan alach masechet Shabbat v'chalan. Lo shir inam shir lo madem v'datei. Here's my name on the odin. Telefa mutenu v'amazeh v'yemen l'mabah. Hanina bar papa. Rami bar papa, Nachman bar papa, Chai bar papa, Abamari bar papa, Rafram bar papa, Rashid bar papa, Surchav bar papa, Ada bar papa, Daru bar papa. Now the just like you helped us, Masechet Shabbat, Kent Azrain, may you help us to start new Masechets and new books, Lilmod, to learn, Lamed, to teach, Lishmor, to keep, ולעשות and to do, ולקיים כל ברית אמונתך באהבה, to do the words of Hashem with love, וזכות כל התנאים, המוראים, תלמידי חכמים, יעמוד לנו זרים, all the תנאים that we said their names. From here we learn just saying the names of tzaddikim is a zechut for you and your descendants. שלא תמוש התורה מפינו, מפי זרענו וזרע זרענו לעולם. The Torah may never move the lips from the lips of our descendants. תקיים בנו ותלך תלכותה בשמך ובשמור עליך והכיסו יתזכך. May we wake up and learn Torah, may we go to sleep by learning Torah. והכיסו יתזכך כי בי יבוא יסוד לך שאת חיים אורך חיים במינה. Long life is in the right of the Torah, ובשמאלה and to the left of Torah is osher v'kavod, is richness and honor. Adonai oz lamo yitel, Adonai yivarech et amo b'shalom.